Okay, just 10 seconds and I think we'll be going live. Right, we're live. Okay, just 10.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul 'uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli waj'al li waziran min ahli Haruna akhi ushdud bihi azri wa yashriku fi amri kay nusabbihaka kathira wa nadhkuraka kathira innaka kunta bina basira. اللهم نور قلوبنا بنور الإيمان والقرآن والإسلام. اللهم استخدمنا في خدمة القرآن والإيمان والإسلام. وصل اللهم على محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه وأتباعه وسلم والحمد لله رب العالمين. Amen. Inshallah, we will continue studying the chapter Shams, the sun. And we started, the chapter started with describing the relationship between the sun and the radiant brightness of the sun. And on the other hand, the sun is the source of the light, the source of light, but it is employed as to emit or spread light. And on the other hand, another example of, again, serving human beings are the moon, and the moon follows the sun and gets the light from the sun and reflects it on the earth when the sun is behind the part of the earth. Of course, half of the earth is always either exposing its face to the sun or not. So this kind of, and also refer to the day, and we experience the sun's glory, and the night, and it covers it with darkness. This kind of polarizations in the Quranic description. First of all, it says, because the type of the language used here, I swear by, it means I take witness what I am going to say as the witness, the sun and the moon and the daytime and nighttime, and also brightness during the day and darkness in the night. Think about them, how perfectly they are arranged, and they were in harmony with each other, although they have contradictory qualities. And also we said, you see the polarity in the creation, not the creation, although they have contradicting qualities with each other. Everything is created in pairs. What the pairs are, although contradictory, but at the same time complementary. And also each of them functions separately. Okay, we studied this to a very great extent. At the last verse we studied, the last verse in the screen now, verse 4, فَأَلْهَمَهَا, verse 8, فَأَلْهَمَهَا فُجُورَهَا وَتَقْوَاهَا. We discussed to a certain extent, not all, but to a certain extent, the soul and how he formed, the soul and how he formed, God formed the soul. We dwelt on it quite a lot, and as much as we can, that is enough. The human soul, human beings are created in such a balance that the body and the spirit are working together, helping each other harmoniously again, and also contradictory characters. Body is made up of matter, soul, the spirit is made up of non-material things that we cannot really detect it in any way in physical terms at all, but we experience their reality, their existence through feelings. Everybody knows that everybody knows that he or she is not really on the body, but there are some things, very precious things, dwelling in the body, working together harmoniously, although their, if you like, nature is contradictory to each other. One of them is continuously changing, the others are really something, not permanent qualities, not changing at all. Human feelings are always there, although our experience of the feelings continuously, constantly change. Excuse me. Okay, I need to do something, sorry for it. So what does it mean to God inspired to the human spirit, human soul, with discernment of its wickedness and righteousness? It means the human beings are aware that when they exercise their free will, whatever they have chosen is a wicked choice, or is it a righteous choice? We are aware of it because it doesn't need any special study or teaching or education. Whatever I do, I know it is right or wrong. It is ingrained in my spirit, in my being, not in my body, in my being. And I know the results of my choices. Although while I am choosing, I may not know the future, what my choice is going to bring to me. I don't know that. But what I am doing, if I really sincerely, not with a bias understanding, it means in order to justify myself, just if I really freely think about it, I know that I am being wicked, or I know that I am being righteous. Of course, we shouldn't confuse that. What I am choosing is the best for me or not. That is a different subject. We don't know what the future will bring to us. That is completely different subject. But if I choose to do something, I know whether it is right thing to do or not right thing to do. We know that from our inside. In order to follow the next verse, which is, we are going to concentrate on it, but it's a very difficult one. It was very difficult for me, and many scholars really struggled to get what it really, really means. Although literally reading the translation, he who God aflaha man zakkaha, he who purifies it, purifies the human's spirit, human soul, indeed is successful. And وَقَدْ خَابَ مَنْ دَسَّاهَا. Now, and he who corrupts it, indeed is ruined. Now, what is going on here? First of all, in the previous verse, here it is, we were talking about the wickedness and righteousness. Wickedness and righteousness. Now we started, all the verses of the Quran starts talking about how it is purified or corrupted. It means fujur and taqwa are compared, and Zekka and Dessa, it means Zekka and purified, Dessa corrupted, uh, is also contrasted. Khabe and Eflaha ve Khabe. It means again saved, if you like, successful, Khabe ruined. Now, two alternatives are again under the discussion now. What does it mean? We said that the Quran, in many cases actually, not only here, makes a sudden jump into another subject. The Quran was talking about the sun and the moon and the night and the daytime, brightness, darkness, and suddenly it said, we created the nafs and we made it perfectly arranged, everything in human beings, and suddenly says, we gave or opened up the path to it, which will go to corrupt itself or to do righteous things or wrong things. Now, if you really purify the human spirit, you are successful. If you corrupt it, you are ruined. No, it's a big problem here. We know that in the Quranic teaching, we understand that the previous, first of all, we understand that the previous description of the sun, the moon, day, night, etc., showing or demonstrated that everything is created in apparently contradiction, but at the same time corresponding each other, harmoniously working each other, complementing each other. Now it came to human soul that it is given the path or opportunity to corrupt itself or to purify itself. Okay, do you see the relationship? The Quran is teaching us that, look, not only within you, there is also the contradiction, opposite polar creation in the universe, as well as within you. Now, suddenly the subject changed, but the subject didn't change. The subject is, although there is a contradiction in the creation of the universe, in the creation of the human beings, but this, in spite of the contradiction, there is complementary element in it, complementing each other. Of course, we ask the question, or many people ask, and I also ask the question by myself, and you can ask the question, why is it possible for us, we are created in such a way that we can choose evil, we can corrupt ourselves? Although Quran explicitly states that human spirit is created pure, as opposed to original sin, Quran with no hesitation rejects it. Human beings are created in a perfect way, in an honorable way. God says, I honored human beings in their creation. So human spirit is inspired or breathed into human body from God's spirit. God's spirit is must be perfect. The creator of the universe, the spirit, must be perfect. Look at the universe. The universe is perfectly working. Everything is perfectly created. So we understand that by definition, God should have no faulty element in its being, in its essence. So human spirit is given, breathed out of this perfect, pure essence and reflected in human creation. It means human spirit is from God's spirit, as the Quran explicitly states it. On many occasions, we refer to this famous verse here. So we understand that human beings in their original creation is perfect. Now, question can be raised here. If it is perfect, why God says he who purifies it? And he can also corrupt it. We understand that if it is pure, then we can corrupt it because we have free will. Now, this subject is so delicate subject, so interesting for me. We have to understand how our human side functions. Now, all the medical studies, biological studies, their subject is to study the body, how it functions. Maybe psychology somehow, but Quran and other scriptures leave it to human explorations. Human beings should explore how my body works. That is understandable because body is material and I can explore the material by examining it, by taking it to the lab and making research on it, making comparisons, etc., come to a conclusion. But how am I going to deal with my spirit? How am I going to analyze it? Now, it is not possible for human beings. What we can only do is using our own human capacity to understand ourselves. How am I functioning? That's why I will ask you. I always do ask, actually, you. Let's think together, reflect together. If there is a point which is not clear, please ask. If I say something, if there is a point which bothers you and you don't understand, and definitely if you don't agree, please state it. Don't hesitate. I want to learn where uh, I, what I say does not make sense to anyone else, although I think it makes sense to me, but of course everybody is happy with his own thoughts, but it doesn't guarantee that I'm right. But this subject needs a very careful attention. Please, let's go into the subject because of this purification and corruption of the nefes, and also God's enabling us. Two paths in front of us. It means we can choose either the good one or the bad one. Let's speak in the plain language. Good choice or evil choice. Why? What's wrong with God that he puts me in a terrible situation? He gave me the option to choose evil. Oh, do you think God wants me to choose evil? And then afterwards he says, if you choose evil, you will be really ruined. But you gave me the opportunity. That is what the Quran explicitly stated. The verse that we studied previously, the last verse, فَأَلْهَمَهَا فُجُورَهَا وَتَقْوَاهَا. and he inspired it with the discernments of it is wickedness and it is righteousness. It means there is an option to choose wicked side. There is also an option to choose righteous side, righteous way or wicked way. There is an option. It is provided by my creator. Oh, it really, really puzzles me. If choosing the wickedness wrong, why do they give me the opportunity then? Oh, my creator, it is wrong. That is a serious problem. This has been studied by many, many people, not only in religious sense, in philosophies, or philosophical studies also have been made. I mean, piles of books have been written on the problem of evil. We are not going to solve it completely, but at least we will benefit from the way that the Quran presents the case to us and shows the solution in an, if you like, hidden way. So we have to really discover it by reflecting on it seriously. My suggestion at this stage is this: since the time for prayer has already entered, and also we end the class normally around 8, but not before 8. I've never seen that we have ended the class before 8, but sometimes 8, 5 minutes after, maybe rarely 10 minutes after 8. But it will be too late for Maghrib prayer who are residing in the United States, in New York. So I live here, so I have to stop and pray. Those who want to pray, we will come back, and the host is going to pause the live streaming. We will come back and straight go into the subject now, because we understood God has given us the opportunity and provided the path to choose evil. It is God who gave us this. Although he gave us a pure spirit, he still says, those who purify the spirit is successful. It is already pure. Come on, what are you talking about? We have to study this. And also those who corrupt it and ruined. If I corrupt it, isn't there any way to purify again? Maybe, must be. After prayer, inshallah, we will talk about this. I just say, inshallah, let's take between 5 to 10 minutes, and we will be back, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum once again. Now, in order to solve this problem, we have to start with the free will. Excuse me, there are some notes maybe. Let me see in the chat box. Okay. Free will. Free will is an interesting subject. We cannot talk about the essence of God, about the essence of spirit, human spirit, about the essence of any of human feelings, essence of it. We can talk about the eye, but we cannot talk about the power of sight. We can talk about brain, the human brain, but we cannot talk about really what thoughts, what imaginations in their essence are. We cannot. Why? They are only experiential. We can only experience them. We are sure that such things exist, but not in material form, so that we can really take under investigation or do something about them. But we know that they exist. The subtlest, the most subtle of all these qualities, the spirit, human spirit, and the most subtle of the quality of the spirit is free will. This is my understanding. You may agree, you may disagree. Welcome. But according to my understanding, the very puzzling subject is human free will. First of all, it gives us two options, or the option which corrupts or purifies, or option which is wrong and fujur, and the other one is taqwa, consciousness. Fujur, wickedness. This is the nature, if you like, of the free will, although we cannot really have it and put it in the lab and study there. But we can experience it, we can see the results of it, and human spirit can evaluate the results of what the free will chooses. It means feels that it is really doing something good, or also something wicked, wrong, bad. We feel it, but we cannot really handle it. The free will is such a thing that we may misuse it, but no one wants to get rid of it. For example, ask yourself, would you like or prefer not to have free will and become like a living plant? Would you? If you, of course, it is easy to say that, oh, if I'm going to choose the bad side, so I'd better not have it. But you are given the option to choose the good side. So it is not easy to speak on yourself. But let's assume that one of your beloved ones, God forbid, has lost its free will. Will you be happy? Oh, it is free now. He is not going to choose the bad side. No free will. So I understand from my own life experience that I don't want to lose my free will. I am old already, but getting even older and older, really old age. I'm getting closer to it now. Nowadays, that's how I am created. I am happy with my creation, but at the same time, I am aware of the way the God creates, which is called Sunnatullah, the order of the creation. According to the order of the creation, it is more likely that I'm going to really, if not completely, but my practice, exercise of free will is getting weaker and weaker and weaker. What does it mean? I am worried about it. I pray to God always, and I ask you to pray also for me and for yourself. Please, God, don't let us lose or don't take the free will from us so that I don't want to live in a plant life. I want to know what I am doing. My consciousness will be aware, and I must be aware what I am choosing. That is free will. So free will is very precious, but at the same time, we have been given the consciousness, we have been given the conscience, aware of the reality, and also we have been given the guidance from the creator of human beings. It means he spoke to human beings through the messengers and provided the criterion to be used in order to make the distinction between right and wrong. There are various venues available for us to become aware of the right and wrong. First, within ourselves, within our own spirit, conscience, conscience. The second, consciousness. Conscience tells us that what we are doing, it gives us the opportunity and tells us this is right or wrong. Consciousness is aware or makes me aware that I am choosing through my free will. But of course, we have to open a parenthesis here. Those people who are created or afflicted later on, maybe for any reason that they cannot use their consciousness properly or they cannot use their free will properly. Uh, so they are out of our discussion now. They are special cases. They have to treat, or the God treats them according to the way they are created. But we have to treat ourselves according to the way we are created, which is we have free will, we have conscience, we have consciousness of what I am doing. I am using my free will and choosing. Of course, if I continuously choose one direction, and this is God's, again, order of creation, makes me, or as the God says in the Quran, makes the way easy for me to that direction. It means if I use my right hand always, my puzzles on my right hand improves. If I don't use, for example, one of my organs, one of my eyes, for example, it atrophies. It means dies away. The way I use, the more I use, the better it is created. That is God's order. Everywhere it is valid. So in the creation. So if I use my free will always on the right way, that way is made it easy for me. Yeah. Inna ma'al usri yusran, inna ma'al usri yusra. So we understand that God says we make it easy. Or there are other verses as well, which says, وَصَدَّقَ بِالْحُسْنَى فَسَنُيَسِّرُهُ لِلْيُسْرَى. Whoever confirms and are constant in choosing the goodness, good, husna, beauty, good one, good actions, good options, فَسَنُيَسِّرُهُ لِلْيُسْرَى. We will make it easier and easier to choose good ones for him. How about the bad ones? Oh, of course, there is an option as well. Yeah, in the Quran as well. Whoever chooses the bad side and denies the beauty, it means good options, and we will make him easy to choose the bad option in the following times. If I never choose the good one, what happens? I cut off my relationship with the good option. I always do, it becomes easy for me to choose the bad option, and it becomes even familiar to me, and I get used to it. Because God's order is in this way. It is God tells us in the creation. God also tells us in the revelation, His speech, and also God tells us within our own conscience that I know if I do something regularly, it becomes easy for me. That's how I am created. If I, for example, learn a language and never use it for 10 years, what happens? I forgot it. Now, the more I used, the better it becomes. That is the mystery of the creation. If, for example, if you teach a subject, let's say biology, if you teach biology always, and you are working on it, what happens? You learn, and everything that you taught becomes very easy for you to understand, to comprehend. That is how the creation is. So we have to be very careful. This free will gives us the option. It is completely free to choose. But we have to always, I feel the need to mention this side of the matter. We have to be aware that um, when I choose something, it brings the result, and it brings an effect on my spirit, on my feelings. And when I use, for example, let's give the example in the bad side. If I always use my free will to choose the bad side, what happens now? I start feeling first ashamed of it, and I start feeling sorry that I have done something wrong. Resentfulness is with me. I resent for it. But if I keep doing it, it becomes, as some people say it, I normalize it for myself. And it starts at the end. That's how the order of the universe is created. It becomes as if it is nothing wrong in it. That is the right way. That is described in the Quran as the heart, which is sealed off. It means they cannot go back anymore because they have no sense of goodness anymore, because they cut off their relationship with the good side of the option. They never used it. It atrophied. It atrophied. It means it died away. It means I cut off my option as if to choose the bad. This is possible, but to choose the good also is possible. And become familiar with the good, enjoy it. And when I choose the good side, I feel pleased, and it becomes so familiar to me that it becomes so easy to me that I cannot anymore choose the bad side. If you like, again, it is the bad side of the option is sealed off. ختم الله على قلوبهم. It is a very problematic for some people. It's not a problematic verse, but they find this verse problematic. If Allah seals the heart off, what is the guilt, or what is wrong with the person? Why is he responsible anymore? God sealed it off. No, it is the order. If I cut off my arm, I am armless. Yeah, if I cut off my connection with the main power, electric power, I have no light in my house. That's my choice. Although the power is producing still, or the power plant is producing electricity, the power is there, but I am not getting it anymore because I cut off it, because I became so much familiar that I normalized it. I normalized it. That's why we have to use a mechanism which Quran provides us continuously, not to make it for us, for ourselves, normalized. How this mechanism works, we will go there. Now, let's come back to this free will, and when we choose to purify the soul. There's another problem here. We somehow, as much as I can, I covered up because there's no one, I think nobody wants. Oh, Afshan wants to speak. Okay, I'm sorry, Afshan. Please, before going to the another subject, let's, now I am stopping now. I'm muting myself. Go ahead, please.
Doctor, before the break, you asked the question, why are we created in such a way that we choose evil? So I wanted to make a
Can
comment.
you please, Afshan? Afshan, I can hardly hear you. Maybe others can, but I cannot hear you. Can you please voice up, or maybe do something if it is possible?
I can raise my voice. So before the prayer break, you asked the question, why are we created in such a way that we choose evil? And I wanted to ask, like, isn't the point the journey, or that human beings are created in a special way that we can make the choice? And isn't it a higher level of righteousness that when we have the choice of evil, we choose righteousness?
Thank you. Thank you for reminding me that we have to talk about the answer to this question itself. Uh, it is, but some people approach the subject in this way. Let's talk about it, since we are going to handle this very difficult subject from many perspectives. So one of the perspectives is this. There is an option to do something bad, and I decide not to do it. So in spite of the bad option, I'm emphasizing on this word, in spite of the bad option, I am resisting it and making the choose option. Some scholars said this, but some scholars really proposed much, much, much better. Not many scholars did this option, but much plausible and real, to me, a real explanation to it. In spite of, why am I given the example, option to choose the bad so that I will resist it? Why do I need it? It doesn't make sense. Don't give me this option, just I will choose the right comfortably. No, 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 no. That is how we are created. In the simplest example, a primary school student, an elementary school student understands this. If there was no darkness, no shades of darkness, we wouldn't be able to understand the value of light. That's a very essential subject. If there was no wrong option, we wouldn't understand the value of the bad option. So it is an opportunity for human beings. We don't have to resist that. And in spite of the bad option, I have to make the right option. No, no, utilize it. Utilize it, not in spite of it, utilize it, because human conscience is given the capacity, ability to understand the bad side of the option is really harmful, makes me ruined, and the good side of the option makes me successful, which means it is really good. Don't you feel that when you, for example, find the right solution for a problem, you are happy with the result? I do. For example, if you do something right, for example, confirm the truth, for example, witness the righteous and defend the righteous person in the court, I think I will be, I am always happy to do this. It is in the criterion is given to me. Why? Because I know the opposite option is horrible. That makes me aware of the beauty, the virtue, the value of the good option. That is why, for example, another example in the theological area, I will use it. For example, if I say, look at the universe and myself, and my feelings are there, I cannot deny them. And I say, the universe is meaningless. My existence is meaningless. How do I feel? Horrible. Horrible. The meaningless, so beautiful, so perfectly working order of the universe. It just happened by itself, for no reason, for no purpose. And I happen to be, as I am now, a human being, no purpose. All the perfect human feelings, innumerable human feelings, happen to be accidentally out of what? It looks to me so frightening, makes my life meaningless, therefore I feel miserable, hopeless. I am going into annihilation with no hope of uh, saving myself from it. I couldn't remember the word. No hope. I have no hope that I may not go into annihilation, because I want everything which is given to me to be perfect and also never lose its value, to be eternal, if you like, with no end. I say that is very important to notice that all the human qualities all the human qualities are given to us in order to experience the best quality of life, and also with not temporary, permanently the best quality. I don't want to lose any of my qualities. Which means when I think of the denial of the purpose in the creation, denial of the conscious act of creation, and meaningless of my existence, if I don't accept that my existence is meaningless, what happens to me? I feel horrible. So that I can understand, not in spite of this option, it makes me appreciate even more, to accept that, to confirm that this universe must be the work of a conscious being who knows everything and arranges everything perfectly. So this is a perfect act of creation, and my existence also makes sense perfectly, and I cannot accept temporary existence going into annihilation, non-existence forever. I cannot accept that. This is how I am given the other option of the choice as well. And I say, or as compared to this, look at the beauty of the confirming the creator, a conscious creator, a merciful creator, giving me all the opportunities. That is why we are given two options, contradictory to each other, but at the same time complementary each other, complementing each other. Why? Because I can understand the value of beauty, value of righteousness, value of confirming the reality rather than denying it as compared to it. For example, hunger and satiated is a good example. When I feel hungry, I want to be satisfied. When I feel, when I am really satisfied, I say, oh, those hunger was horrible. I am saved from it, so that I will appreciate the value of being satisfied. I will appreciate it. So these options are helping each other to understand. For example, option for the goodness, for the good, helps me understand how the option of the bad is really bad. And also vice versa is correct. Option of the bad shows me, for example, darkness shows me a little bit light, even a little bit light, maybe a candle light. How precious is it? It is. Without the darkness, I cannot really appreciate the real value of the light. Even I wouldn't be able to realize that light exists. Can you imagine this? This is not, as Afshan asked the question, our friend Afshan asked the question, this is not in spite of darkness. No, no. Thanks to darkness, I appreciate the light. Thanks to hunger, I appreciate the satisfied, eating the food. Thanks to ugliness, I appreciate the beauty. Thanks to it, not in spite of it. That interpretation fits what the Quran describes, that the human spirit is pure and we need to keep it pure. But we The Quran says, I'll go back to the verse now, if the answer is satisfactory or somehow makes sense. If not, please let me see again, because this list here, participants list, distracts my attention. I close it. When I close it, I don't see who's raising his hand or her hand.
Dr. Ali, I have a question. Isn't this ugliness and darkness, can't we also look at that as a potential fitna, and where people can get lost there or can get completely distracted and influenced for good, influenced in a long term, rather than darkness helping us see the light? People can get lost in the darkness.
When you look at the creation, thank you, Maha. When you look at the creation, do you see that darkness makes the value of light less? Do you see that? Do you see any sign in the creation? Hunger, sorry. Did you say anything?
No, I see your point. Darkness does not diminish from the value of light, but in physical darkness, it doesn't. However, mental or emotional or social or political darkness actually affects all these aspects of darkness. They do affect the light, and some people get stuck or lost, or they lose their faith or hope or a sense of a sense of righteousness, or a sense of what's even right or wrong. Their moral compass can be lost.
Can I say something? But I think if we didn't have, I think if you didn't have the other part of that, you wouldn't even know that you are missing, that you're in that darkness, if you get what I mean. So the people who who are dealing with the corruption in their mental or things that they do, if if either alternative didn't exist, we wouldn't even know that is, and that we're in that, if that makes sense.
Now, can I jump in now? Or does anybody else want to say anything on this very important subject? Now, we have to understand that creation of bad may be affecting other people, but we have to go back to the very fundamental Quranic principle, which is, we have to be very careful here. God says and promises in the Quranic senses. Also, I'll come back to human reasoning as well. God says, I am not going to punish any people who have not received the message. What does it mean? We have not, but in the Quranic language, it said we have not sent any messenger to them. It means we have to understand the messenger, not only the prophet, also human consciousness is a messenger, the creation is a messenger, of course, different nature, but they function in the same way. Human conscience is a messenger in us, but sometimes they are covered up because of the ignorance. So ignorant people, if they don't know really what is wrong with the wrong option or mistaken ideologies, propaganda, etc., we know that these people are misled by them. That is what I understood from Maha's question. They are harming innocent people. Yes, if they have not been given the message, they may follow it in an innocent way, but God promises that they are not responsible for this. But if there is an option to think and hear something, make the comparison between right and wrong, between truth and falsehood, then it means that is why Quran says, I am a criterion. It means making the distinction between distinguishing the right from the wrong. So if someone has not received this message, he is not responsible. He will be responsible only as much as his conscience and consciousness informs him. And that also is a question. For example, a person may not have heard any message from God's speech. There are billions of people in the world. They have not heard anything. Oh, for example, in many other countries, I don't want to name it, but they don't know that God speaks and God has sent messengers, and they have never heard of this. So they are left, their responsibility left to their own inner consciousness and conscience. That is, they are responsible for. So according to their own conscience, although they acknowledge no religion at all, even they may not know that there is God. I have seen people that they have never heard the word God, the creator. I was so surprised that I thought everybody knows it. No, it's not the case. But they are left with their, if you like, inner messenger. Oh, if you heard the message and the people are arguing about it, if you are aware of it, then you have to use your free will and make the analysis. As far as your choices is concerned, we have to understand that the choice that we make, limits our responsibility. Why I am choosing this way, why I am choosing that way. If someone chooses the mistaken side or the wrong side, thinking that it is the right way, but innocently, not covering up, not justifying it in a way that he will be right, he will sound right, he will look right. That's called the self-righteousness. So that is, again, the person is cheating himself. That is up to him, none of my business, none of our business, what the other people are doing. We have to question ourselves. What are we doing here in this world? So as far as you know what is right and what is wrong, and you, as far as you are given the option to investigate, are you using it? That's what I ask the same question to myself. Am I using it? Am I utilizing my human qualities? Am I utilizing the opportunities and materials are provided for me in any way that are accessible to me? Am I really going and fetching them up, or being lazy and saying that, oh, if I learn this, it will bring me some responsibility and forget about it? That is my responsibility. So we have to understand that everybody is responsible within their own, if you like, capacity, which means all the materials and all the documents available for them. At least their own conscience is the available document for them. So they have to follow their own conscience. But I don't want to pass and to talk about other people anyways, because it's not my responsibility at all, but my responsibility concerns me. What am I going to do? Every one of us needs to think in this way. What am I going to do with my own uh, facilities now? For example, someone, let's say, propagates uh, an ideology which denies the creator and says only matter exists and human beings are going to disappear after they die. So we have to enjoy our life here. I have to think about it. Do I have any alternative to this idea? Heard? Did I make an honest? I must ask myself. Of course, I cannot really question anybody else's honesty. I can take notice of my honesty. Do I really make an honest decision about this? Or am I looking for an opportunity to justify myself? There is a there are actually two verses following each other. The excellent verses, which describes what our reality is. Now, let me remember the verse, how it's that meaning I know, but original verse, which is beautiful to mention here. Let me remember. The second verse came to my mind. Sorry, not فَإِلْهَمَهَا, sorry. No, I confused again. Let me, come on, very common verse that I recited very often, but when I think about it, it doesn't come to my mind. بل الإنسان على نفسه بصيرة ولو ألقى معاذيره. I really love this. I would say plain truth. Every man definitely is aware what he is doing. Inner sense. Even though outwardly, I am adding this outwardly, justifies it or looks for justifications for himself. ولو ألقى معاذيره, the excuses. I have to do it because, the time is like that, etc., etc. I have to go with the flow of the society, etc. Look, there are beautiful days in our life. There are gloomy nights in our life. Even I understand better the value of light during night, not during daytime. It means the Quran gives this example, as we also discussed at the beginning of this chapter again, when وَاللَّيْلِ إِذَا يَغْشَاهَا. Why is it that? It is necessary. For what? Some people may not have any light. I understand. They suffer from darkness. Of course, I understand. But only the existence of the darkness that human beings can understand the value of light. Only through. But some people don't have light. Okay, they are responsible only as much as they can have light within that darkness, but they can really appreciate even the slightest degree of light there. But those people, as I compare myself with them, are introduced to the Quran, the teaching of God, and still I don't take notes of it. I don't study it. I don't really try to grasp the message, what it says. I only remain or suffice myself with claiming that I believe in the Quran. It is the word of God. Definitely, I'm sure there are lots of miraculous things are going on in the Quran, scientific miracles, eloquence miracles, balagha of the Quran, it's called. How much do you spend time to study? Maybe not at a day, but at least in a week. And it means I know that I am being lazy about becoming familiar with the teachings of my Creator, guidance of my Creator to me. And also in the creation, in the universe, there are many examples that I can take lesson from. All the things are created. Summer is created, fall is created, winter is created, and I have the consciousness to ask the question, why all the things the seasons are changing, timing changing, I am getting older and older and older. Why? What is it happening? What is happening to me? Who's operating on me? Who is really managing my life, administering my life? Can it happen by itself? Let me ask, let me investigate, let me question, and let me talk about it with my friends rather than talking trash with my friends, talking about nonsense things. If a friend sends me a message saying that, how are you, Ali? I immediately answer. God keeps sending the message through the creation, through my own consciousness, through the creation of the universe, through the revelation. I am familiar with them. There are continuously coming various channels working for me, sending me text messages, pay attention to it, spare some time to understand this. I don't. Of course. And then I will say, look, speaking on others, because of this option for evil, many people fall into evil. All right. It may be correct for others. Come to myself. What am I doing? So, if there was no evil, would I be able to appreciate the value of good at all? Ask myself. That's an option. We don't know other people's life conditions. We don't know whether how much they are aware of it. Even those people, I feel that they blame Muslims, they really criticize Islam, knowing that, the Prophet was married with many wives, which kind of men it is. They don't know. They may not know, not necessarily don't. It was wrong. But they may not know what the conditions are, what the Quran is teaching, how the Quran must be read, how the Quranic injunctions must be really evaluated and understood. They have not studied it. They didn't have any encouragement, any incitement, any impulse, any urgency to go and investigate it because of many other obstacles we don't know. But I must come to myself. When I look at myself as I am now, I can make the distinction between right and wrong. I am aware of it, as the Quran says. Every nefis, every being, every individual is aware of what he is choosing. Within it is given life conditions. That's what we have to understand. Within it is given life conditions. We should never forget it. In the mountains of Tibet or in the mountains of China, they have never heard the word of God. Not the word of God, the concept of God itself. Even really very well developed Japan. I have met people who were surprised that the word God, the creator, the universe as a creator exists in the language of some people. They've never heard of it. How can I compare myself with them? So pass judgment about them and saying that, look, the existence of evil harmed them. No, they are responsible within the conditions of their given life conditions. Given life conditions. I am responsible for my given life conditions. For example, I know that, for example, if I learn that, look, if you want to learn, really, there is an option for you. Where in, let's say, I just come to Venezuela, came to my mind. In Venezuela, all right? Really, I got it, I benefited a lot. And I say, let me share with you that so that I will be convinced that it is really true. I hear the person speaking and say, oh yeah, I should know it. But I said, okay, my life conditions don't allow, I understand. But my life conditions allow me to go there and search it. Why shouldn't I? Why should I not go and search it if my life, especially material and financial conditions of my life, allows me to do that? Why shouldn't I? Or try to do something, communicate through, for example, this modern technologies, for example. Try my best. Am I really seeking the truth? I have to ask myself how much serious I am in seeking the truth. I should ask myself, then I understand that the value of existence of, if you like, option to choose the bad side, as the Quran says, as we are studying now. It's a very essential subject. In front of me now, I can choose the bad side, but I can choose the good side as well. If I have the opportunity, am I using the bad side in order to function as a criterion to understand and appreciate the good side of the option, or good option, not the bad option? That is why I have to be really fair to say that everybody, we should never forget, everybody is responsible within the conditions of their given life conditions, within the limitations of their given life conditions. That is settled. Come to myself and see the option. I can see the option of denial of creator, which is summarized in the teachings of the Quran as la ilaha, la ilaha. There is no God in the universe. There is no creator or the divine power within the universe. I don't have it. No one has it. No one give existence to anything else. Correct? So, look how beautiful it is now. I understood the option to attach any divinity, quality to anything is impossible and it doesn't make sense. I cannot accept it. It opens up, so how the universe exists then? Oh, that is a great help. It is a great help. How the universe exists then? I have to search. That is why the Quran says, believe in ghaib is the belief. Believe in the, how to say, objectified, palpable things is not belief, is knowledge. For example, if you ask me, for example, I have something like, my phone is here. Anyway, iPhone is here. Let me see. It has been charging here. Now, can I say the phone, my phone is in my hand now, really. So Can I say, I believe I have a phone in my hand? Or do I say, I know I have a phone in my hand? But belief is a matter of confirming the necessary existence of ghaib. That is very important. What does it mean, ghaib? Look, if I cannot, if I wasn't given the ability to deny the opposite of present here, opposite of ghaib, in the present, saying that there is no creator in the universe. There is no, nothing in the universe has the power to give existence to anything else. How can I search for the source of existence of the universe, which is necessarily al-ghaib? It means not definable, not identifiable with anything of the nature of this universe. It is impossible. If there was no option of la ilaha, it would be impossible to be able to say or confirm illallah, because ghaib can be only known in contradiction with the present. That is extremely important. We should never ever forget this. The confirmation of the reality of ghaib is only possible with the experience of the things here which are the negative of the ghaib, negation of the ghaib. Do you see what I mean? The negation of this possibility of the creatorship of the things in this universe enables me to confirm the necessary existence of the ghaib, which is absolute being. The creator cannot be identified with anything of this universe. Oh, I say, thank you, God, to give me the ability to deny you and attribute this creatorship to anything in this universe, which is obviously impossible. I am speaking on my behalf. I am very thankful to the Creator who gave me the option to choose the bad and also option to choose the good, and enabled me through my conscience. Choosing the bad is wrong. Choosing the good is right. And also enabled me through my consciousness what I am doing. Am I choosing the right, or am I choosing the wrong? I am aware of it. As much as I am, I have to work on it. I have to choose my free will to concentrate on it more and more. So the existence of the option of evil, not reality of evil. Reality of evil doesn't exist. But option of evil. For example, the option of evil, the most important option of evil is denying the creator and attributing the creatorship to anything of this universe, nature or the things or natural laws, this kind of symbolic names. So this option, but in fact, is there any natural law which functions as the creator? Or they are just order itself? They don't exist. The evil in its essence do not exist. But to choose evil is possible for me, and this is existence, and it is given to me freely to be used, exercised. That's a very fine point. I don't think, all the time is up, I don't think we dealt the subject properly, because especially what I wanted to discuss, how a pure spirit God says you have to purify it. What does it mean, oh God? It is already pure. How can I purify it? This process needs another discussion. Inshallah, next week I would suggest you, if you like, I mean, would you like to discuss this matter, continue on studying this matter, discussing this matter next week, or shall we go to the following? Asim says, yes. Okay, sign. And how about anyone who says no? It uses this symbol. This is no. It means we don't want to discuss it. Let's part to the next verses. Anyone? Oh, people are silent. The people are impartial. Okay. What do you want? I don't know, people. What do they choose? Come on. Say something. Yes or no, at least. No?
We can
No?
continue it.
Sorry?
I vote for yes.
Okay, hit the yes, like this. Okay, inshallah, next week, at least this subject, and if I forget, please remind me. I'll try to take notes of it. Pure, the human spirit is pure, no really original evil, okay? No original sin in the teachings of the Quran. And then spirit is pure. How God said, asks me, then I have to purify it. It's very easy. Inshallah, next week, starting from there, we will have some time, inshallah. I'm hoping to follow the following, to study the following verses, inshallah. Okay, for now, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Subhanaka la ilma lana illa ma 'allamtana innaka antal alimul hakim. وآخر دعواهم أن الحمد لله رب العالمين بحرمة سر سورة الفاتحة.